welcome to the first edition of Novi's favorite podcast.
Now you Novi.
You did
I'm
good.
a frequent listener. I love it.
You know what? And I screwed up because I should have said the first episode of 2025.
Correct.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. Good holiday?
Great holiday. How about you?
Good. Were you on the naughty or the nice list, Cheryl?
I was on the nice list.
I'm not surprised. I called Santa personally to make sure of that.
I was on the nice list. Yes, thank you. I made it again, and I've been doing my best throughout the holidays. It's been challenging, but it's all good.
I doubt that.
Your first time on the pod.
It is. It is. We jumped in here. I miss my couch that I'm usually on, but this is great. This is fantastic, if you will.
So
I hear that's the word of the podcast.
Yeah, for those listening and not watching, the voice may sound familiar. We have the Mayor Justin Fischer, in the hot seat today. So
yes,
thanks for joining me. I thought, you know what, you haven't been on the pod yet. It was a great opportunity to. We kind of looked back a little bit and celebrated 2024. You and I did an Update Novi and thanked Dan Jones. And then Victor, city manager, Cardenas, and I did a little reflection on 2024 on the pod. So I'm like, hey, let's look forward. 2025.
Bridge it to the new year.
You know, I don't know if you've been following on social, but I think 2024 was an odd year for people.
Okay.
And I don't know why.
Why is that?
I don't know. I don't know if maybe it was, I'll look at the city, a lot of road construction, at the election. I just think it was a year of maybe uncertainty, trepidation a little bit for people.
People didn't want to make big moves because we didn't know what was going to maybe happen in November. So
right.
Absolutely. I think saw that at whether it be the city, my own work, all the above. It was a little bit of a holding pattern year, if you will.
And yeah, holding pattern is a good way to look at it. And I don't want to say that about Novi in general. I mean, you had a new city council. It was your first full year as mayor. It took a while for you guys to get in step too, as with any new governing body, right? So it just was a different year. And I think people are super excited for 2025 coming out of the last year and what that's going to bring.
I think kind of drawing upon that, I would say 2024 with having the new council, we had touched on that a couple of times, newish city staff. I feel like we were setting the foundation for kind of 2025 to be a springboard. I mean, we have a lot of things going on, a lot of things to get accomplished in 2025, but we had to set those foundations at first and get everyone kind of rowing in the same direction.
And that's good,
and
right?
I think we've done that.
That's good. Committees, projects, the vision, the goal. Yep. Let's talk about what it looks like right now. Yeah. What 2025, you and I both know is going to start out like full speed ahead,
yes,
right?
It is.
So we have a council meeting on Monday. After it's already, when this airs, it will have already happened. But you have a special council meeting coming up in January as well.
That is right. Well, already the council meeting 1st of January, we're going to get an update from staff on goals that we had set last year and kind of see where we're at. But for the special meeting we're having later in January, it's going to dive into the big goals, kind of those strategic priority things that we need as a council to give decisions on, give direction to staff on. Some of those things are going to be talking about Beck Road, talking about the public safety building project that we've been talking about and deliberating for several years now, and kind of, really making a decision on whether we want to pursue that or not. Talk a little bit maybe about 12 Mile, a couple of the millages that are coming up in the couple future years. So that meeting is really to dive into what I'm calling kind of these strategic decisions that need to be made, both from a council level, but also to give staff the continued direction on those big initiatives.
Which I think is amazing because this is tight. This is a pivotal time for Novi, right? We've grown up. Who do we want to be?
Yep.
How are we going to get to the next level, right? And infrastructure, there's a lot of things that need to occur.
The way I kind of play it off or vision that is, how do we set the city up for 2040, 2050, right? We need to set those building blocks now to make sure that the great city we built so far, it continues to be that in 15, 20, 30 years from now.
Which is so smart. I mean, anyone that travels the metro area, you look at cities that are, I want to say, tired or need reinvestment, right? And the goal is Novi will not become one of those cities.
Correct.
We travel the country, we travel other cities, and we're like, we want to be that. We want to keep and continue that vision of continuing to invest in ourselves, have number one schools, high valued neighborhoods, top public safety.
Absolutely.
Along with that, that meeting, you all have committed to a strategic visioning process for the future.
That is right. Yeah, part of one of the committees that we had set up last year is kind of a long-range planning committee, right? And that's something that we had heard of visiting some of the cities that we've seen over the last couple of years. Is cities are looking at doing this, and companies do this, and a lot of entities look at, okay, not what are we just doing the 6 months, the year in advance. We do that great through our budgeting process. We do that for 3 years. But again, how do we articulate, how do we decide what we want to be in that 2040, 2050? So we set that committee up. They've been deliberating, like I said, kind of setting that foundation. And now they have a process, they have a timeline, they have the questions that they want to answer. They're starting to hire some consultants to help guide those decisions, real professionals who do this on a day-to-day basis. I don't do this on a day-to-day basis. Neither does Mayor Pro Tem, and neither do you. And it's okay to bring in the professionals to help us drive those decisions to get an outcome that we're looking for.
And a part of that process, I think important to note for those listening or watching is we will be involving the community, right? This is not just a consultant. This isn't you, the committee member, our city staff. It's an entire collaborative effort that will be undertaken.
Absolutely. And, as my understanding, it's going to, whether it be focus workshops, it's going to be online, every different means that you usually use, Cheryl, to reach out to residents. We're going to be using all of those plus some to get that feedback on what everyone wants. Novi. What we have learned, one of the most important things we've learned from the cities we visited is you need that resident input. You need, and it sounds like a simple concept, you need the elected people to be bought in. You need staff to be bought in, and you need the residents to be bought in. Because if not, the plan's not going to come to fruition, right?
Right.
So we're going to absolutely incorporate as much feedback as we can into that process.
Good stuff.
Now, it doesn't mean everything's going to get in there, right? I mean, we have to make decisions. So you have to have a vision has to be something that you can march towards. It can't be everything to everybody, but we will solicit the feedback.
That's good. So January's pretty busy.
Yes, it is.
A couple council meetings, a special council meeting, right on the doorstep. I can't believe it. I feel like we just were prepping for this, and maybe we were because it was in May. Yeah. But this year in March,
the state of this. I knew you were going to bring this up. I think that's why you had me here, is to start to get my ideas of what we should be talking about.
No, we've already started talking about it, and have a plan in place, building upon last year's event.
Right.
But a great opportunity to update the community, our business community, about the fiscal health of Novi, the vision that you, our council members, city staff, are laying out and creating for Novi, and hopefully be able to, at that time, also share some thoughts about public safety, the needs, and going forward. So that's going to be on March 21st.
Always a great event. Like you said, partner with the chamber to, put this event on. Everyone's invited. It's lunch this year on a Friday. And those who don't want to attend lunch are free to attend the actual speech because it's important, whether you're a business community, whether you're a school partner or a resident who wants to listen. Always great. And hopefully I think there will be a lot to be said there about what is coming out of our visioning sessions, out of our strategic sessions.
What are you most looking forward to this year?
Should have known that was going to be a question. I think really it is diving into some of these decisions and actually getting moving on them, right? Public safety, for instance, right? We've been talking about it. We started our committee to start investigating whether we should look into it 2-3 years ago. And even before that, everyone's kind of some people were kicking the tires a bit. And I think this is the time for a council to decide, do we go to voters or do we not go to voters? And if we go to voters, it's time for voters to decide, do we want to upgrade these facilities? It's important to know these are, what we've realized is these are 40-year-old facilities that we haven't done a lot with, right? And you talked about it. We like to invest in the community. We need to stay on top of these things. I don't want to say that we haven't done everything we needed to do. I think, our staff has kept these things running as efficiently as they could. But now it's just time to make that capital investment again. You have to do that every couple of years. So I'm excited to just get some decisions behind us and get running on some of these projects.
You want to know what I'm most excited about?
These podcasts with me, Update Novi. I don't know.
Well,
No,
the pod was a highlight of 2024 for me, but 2025, I think, and you've lived here all your life. I've been at the city now for almost 23 years. The investment that I see on Main Street and Sakura finally coming to fruition, and what doors I guess that's going to open and reinvigorate in what we call Novi City Center, right? That whole area. Years ago, we saw Town Center with and they still, that's a great example. Town Center reimagined itself 15 years ago.
Yeah, 10, 15 years ago.
And they're continue. I was over there the other day. They're still investing in redoing facades and adding new. We had Victor and I kind of laughed at Novi's going to be known as the chicken place. We had Shake Shack, Houston's Chicken. We've got Cane's coming. But that area. And then you had MSU Credit Union.
Federal Credit Union.
Renovate and do a total facade makeover at the northwest corner. So now to see the townhomes coming up on Main Street,
right?
The chamber relocate to the other Main Street, and then Sakura across Grand River. I just think it's super
and hopefully
exciting.
Bond gets going as well behind
I forgot
Panera,
about that, right?
The old kind of cement factory there facing CVS. So
and that was planned and approved 5 years ago, maybe 7 years ago.
Amended this year. So,
and updated this year. So I think what we hear in younger generations and families, the walkability of a community where Novi's never had a traditional downtown. It kind of creates that, right? And I think that's super exciting.
It is. I think that's a great point. That has been in the making for 20, 30 years, right? And I think everyone has kind of recognized, in order for that to be a vibrant area, especially kind of the Main Street side of it, you need those residents. And finally, with Sakura coming in, with the towns coming in, you're going to have that critical mass of residents. And hopefully that'll draw some more of the retail shops in there. It'll kind of build upon itself, continue to build upon itself, and sustain Town Center, et cetera. So it's exciting.
I think it's exciting.
I still remember going to the movies at the Town Center.
Me too.
Did you? Back in the day. So
I do remember.
Talk about a complete reinvestment and reimagination of what it is.
Mervin's was there. The movies was behind, and Diamond Jim Brady's was tucked behind as well.
Correct. Yep. Over on that side. Barnes and Borders. It was Borders, I think.
Borders.
Was over there. Yeah.
So I remember all that too. So to see that whole area reimagined, it's just kind of exciting.
And you see in other cities, places like that, they lose a tenant and then they just kind of fizzle away and you have vacancies. But again, that reinvestment has taken place and hopefully continues to be a vibrant area.
I think it goes hand in hand with the strategic plan that you were talking about earlier, right? The 2040, 2050 plan. Who do you want to be? 40 years ago, someone had a dream, a vision of creating a Main Street. Now, whether it was successful or had challenges or whatever, here we are. All these years later. So I think that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, it is. And we also, from a city perspective, supporting that, the CIA in the last year, speaking of kind of setting that foundation, we got that board back up and running. We have the members, and we have some plans to really start mobilizing that and mobilizing the funds and investing in that Grand River corridor as well. So
someone listening is going, I didn't know
Not
the CIA.
Corridor Improvement Authority.
Right.
Yeah,
The Corridor Improvement Authority. Yeah.
I was not around when they named it, and I get mad every time I say it. So
It's kind of fun, though.
It is.
It bodes a lot of questions.
It'd be a lot cooler if it was,
Yeah. So good stuff. I think good stuff on the horizon. And I know you'll be out and about. Last year, I saw you so many places.
Absolutely.
And enjoying and getting to know people and making those connections on behalf of your colleagues and city staff. You were out and very much appreciated, I know, at all the events you attended. So I know there's some fun stuff coming up this year.
Yep. Hopefully some of our staples as well, Spring Palooza and those kind of things. So,
we're actually, that's a great opportunity to, that is always a very well-attended event. And that's going to be in early June. We're changing it to a community fest.
Okay.
It's very successful. 4,000 people maybe attend a year. We are partnering with the Chamber.
Okay.
And making it a business opportunity as well for businesses, local businesses, to showcase themselves.
Perfect.
And making it an entire community fest. So library's going to participate and bring in a cultural component and have a stage.
Okay.
And have cultural opportunities and experiences. So it'll be very cool.
This is the innovation I love from you, Cheryl. We have a great event and we find ways to make it even better. Always have to be challenging ourselves, right?
So,
and
very
you do
cool.
a great job of that. But no. And hopefully the community continues to engage by showing up to those, reaching out, encourage people to get more involved in boards, commissions, and all that. So
good stuff. Thanks for sitting in on the pod. Any parting words other than Happy New Year?
Just a happy, safe, wonderful New Year to everybody. And, good luck to all the parents who get to ship their kids back to school come early January. I know I'm looking forward to it.
I've heard a lot of that around. So, again, wishing you all a very happy, healthy, prosperous New Year. And get engaged in our Novi, getting involved. Novi is only as good as the effort you put in. We need you, right?
Absolutely.
We need engagement, involvement from our residents, our businesses.
Got a lot of talented people out there, a lot of skill sets that we'd love to tap into. So reach out.
Yep. Until next time, there you have it. Now
you Novi.
Take care.